One of my favorite authors is a man named Max Lucado. I hope you know who Max is. If you don't, you need to read one of his books. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. And I've had the privilege of getting to know he and Deanlyn and their daughters through the years. But prior to really getting to know Max, a friend of mine told me a story about Max that she had observed at a party at he and Deanlyn's home. My friend said she was at a party with about 30 people at Max and Deanlyn's home, and among those 30 people were some very, very important people, some heads of industry, some presidents of publishing companies and record companies, lot of hoity-toity at this party. And she said she watched Max. He was in conversation with three men, very, very powerful gentlemen. And as he's in the middle of this conversation with these three important men, he hears his daughter Jenna begin to play the piano. She was about 6 years old, and she had just started taking piano lessons. And he heard Jenna begin to play, and she was playing, real simple songs, something along the lines of Chopsticks. And the minute Max heard Jenna begin to play, he said to those important men, "Excuse me, gentlemen, just a moment. I need to go listen to my daughter." And he left those men and he walked over and he leaned against the wall and he watched Jenna play this very simple song on the piano. And my friend said she watched Jenna. She had a straight-on view of Jenna's face. And she said when Jenna looked up and saw her daddy leaning against the wall, gazing at her with affection, she said Jenna's face just beamed. She said she sat up straighter on the piano bench and she played a whole lot harder. Y'all, that is the context of what's happening here. Max is one of my favorite all-time living authors. Henry Nouwen is one of my favorite authors who's gone on to be with the Lord. Listen to what Henry Nouwen wrote in his classic book, The Wounded Healer. He made this poignant conversation that reminds me of what happened between Max and Jenna. More importantly, what happened between Jesus and the bleeding woman. Henry Nouwen wrote, "Everyone who returns from a long and difficult journey is looking for someone waiting for him at the station or airport. Everyone wants to tell his story and share his moments of pain and exhilaration with someone who stayed home waiting for him to come back." In other words, we all ache for someone to listen to us when we're busy. We all ache for someone to see us when we feel invisible. We all ache for someone to treat us like we are the most important person in the room, regardless of who else is present. Y'all, Jesus, the King of all kings, who is in absolute authority over the natural world, the supernatural world, sickness, and even death, that majestic King is the same one who's leaning against a wall, gazing at us with tender affection while we play chopsticks. That is the glorious hope of Mark chapter 5.